It's my pleasure to introduce, this is Nancy Mousseau. She is our technology specialist at the library. And because the library we love books. All of us here probably love books, but the library is way more than books. So this is Nancy.
Thank you for spending your morning with us. My name, as Pat said, is Nancy Musso, and I am the technology specialist at the library. One of the many roles that I play at the library is that I'm the manager of what's called our Maker Lab. And some of you have had computer classes in that same room. Um, but it used to be our small conference room. It's been converted into our Maker Lab. And like most students growing up, I was one of those kids that had a natural curiosity for how things worked, to my parents' dismay, because I took everything apart, took it apart, put it back together. I think Carl Sagan said that every child starts out as a natural born scientist, and I really believe that. I think that everybody has a natural curiosity to how things work. And today, what we're going to be talking about is maker education, actually, and how that has been implemented at the library. So that's going to be the course of our conversation. You might have seen some of these acronyms before: STEM, STEAM. Now we have graduated to STREAM. And STREAM has included reading and art into it. Um, So I'm going to get into a little bit as we go about what stream means and what its application is. So that's where we're going. But before we do that, on your chair there, you have a little Ziploc bag that has a piece of tinfoil in it and two pipe cleaners. And I want to challenge you this morning to do a little bit of making of your own. Um, With tinfoil, you can mold it and shape it into anything you want. And you add a couple pipe cleaners to it, and you can really actually build anything that you could dream of. And so, as the presentation is going on, I encourage you to fiddle around with that and see what you can come up with. We found that when you pose a challenge to non-crafty people, you get a little bit more buy-in from them because now it's a challenge, it's not a craft, right? And so I challenge you today, if you're not a crafty person, to go ahead and see what you can come up with as I go through this presentation today. Just a little bit of fun. But what is stream-based learning? When we ask this question, a lot of times the feedback that I get centers around coding, robots, and 3D printers. When people think of STEM, STEAM, or STREAM, that's what they think about are those three things, but it is actually so much more than that. Um, it's a lot of these things that are on this Wordle. STREAM, in addition to the STEM model, includes arts, reading and writing, the arts and reading and writing concept into it. This update from STEM to STREAM was important because educators found that this would actively promote 21st century skills that students would actually need to solve problems: collaboration, communication, creativity, critical thinking. These are necessary things in the technological world that we're living in. This infusing of reading and writing into the STEM model was important because it's been found that writing, like every other art, helps in teaching an entire range of tools for thinking, which are required to be creative in any discipline. STEAM curriculum allows students to learn vital skills such as problem solving, as I said, critical thinking, collaboration, and innovation, along with all the essential technology skills that you get in STEM. So if it were only a STEM curriculum, then that was stressed, and then students would get a very solid technical background. They probably come up with some very innovative ideas. However, we would lose the human aspect of the equation, and we need to harness all of these disciplines together to solve our future societal issues. Um, I'm sure all of you have heard about artificial intelligence. It's everywhere. Um, and while this is a very powerful technology, it has some real human consequences to it, right? And so we need Chat GPT. We've heard of that. For those of you that have Windows computers, you're now being introduced to Microsoft Copilot, which is also an artificial intelligence-based software. Artificial intelligence is all around us. And it's one of those technologies that requires of us not only a technical background, but a very thoughtful human perspective. Because, and I will get into that in a little bit. But before I do that, I'd like to show you a video of kind of where our culture is in technology, and how stream-based learning is really essential to achieve our technical and societal goals. And so this is about a 5-minute video, and I'll let you go ahead and.
There has never been a bigger force for change than technology. It changes absolutely everything about the way we live, the way we get around, the way we eat, even the way we talk to each other. has never been a bigger force for change.
Wow, huh? So you can see that for some reason, Ron, I can't advance to the next slide. Let's see if I can. There we go. Okay, so wow. Technology is not going away. As a matter of fact, as I said in the video, we're just beginning the digital revolution. Um, so I brought this slide simply because it's really imperative that our children not only have a technical background, but using the arts have a balance with humanity in that, right? When children play, they explore and build skills and theories about their worlds. When young children investigate their environment, they experience a satisfaction that can come from investigation, discovery, and solving problems. I was at a conference a few years ago in Washington, D.C., and Lee Rain, the head of Pew Research, Pew Internet Research, and Peter Raymond, the CEO of Solve OS, were presenting on artificial intelligence. And Raymond, or Peter, pointed out that we have not evolved enough as a society to catch up with the consequences of what we have created. The learner needs to transition from acquiring just knowledge to understanding what the implications of it are. The earlier that students can learn the process of critical thinking and develop that process through all the disciplines of STREAM, the more equipped they will be able to provide creative solutions to future problems that technology by itself just simply can't answer. Children are naturally motivated to solve problems, as I said, and when they have an active role in learning, they decide what they will do and learn from what happens. And when children are interested in an outcome, they create theories that they test and they modify on their own. And so we need to continue to encourage that kind of behavior in our kids. We have been actively doing maker programming for over 12 years at the library. And we started out on little carts, hauling stuff downstairs to the first floor on folding tables just to expose the community to different technologies. As we have been intentional about offering STREAM-based learning opportunities, we have learned some things. I have learned some things along the way. And consequently, I think the staff has too. We need to know who we are and who we serve. As an institution, as a library, we are uniquely positioned in the community as one of those organizations that has the opportunity to serve a very wide demographic of people, all the way from babies to senior adults and everybody in between. It's essential that as an organization that we understand who we are and who we are trying to serve. And in the area of making specifically, in makerspaces, we had to define and think about what we were capable of offering to the community. And then secondly, what the community needed from us in the context of technologies or what they wanted to learn about. And so that was one of the lessons learned. Another one is that teamwork really does make the dream work. Truly, it does. As a rural library, we are very fortunate to even have a space like this. Many rural libraries simply don't have the budgets or the staffing power to be able to come up with servicing a makerspace. But we have one that we can invite the public in to tinker and explore and discover and create. But that happened as a result of teamwork. First, I want to say that having a staff that's understanding and supportive of us having that kind of space, wanting to participate themselves, having community partners in place, like the Community Foundation as an example, who came alongside and understood our vision and wanted to support that. And then finally, the community coming in, participating, giving feedback. Our Maker Lab would not be successful if it wasn't for the participation and the input of the community. So collectively, all these groups together make our makerspace very, very successful. And then finally, this is a big one. Failure is an opportunity. This idea really defines our Maker Lab, and it is quite a paradigm shift from what many of us grew up learning, right? Yeah. However, having this kind of atmosphere in the makerspace has challenged individuals to continue to explore and learn when they didn't get it right the first time or the second time or the third time even. It challenged them. It was something that they could keep on plugging along, and it was something also that wasn't offered to them many times before. And so it's an encouragement, and watching these little light bulbs turn on when they finally get it is pretty incredible. But by sticking with it, students and adults alike have overcome the challenge of failure to find ways to be successful. And so we celebrate failures just as much as we celebrate successes in the makerspace, because we know that those failures eventually will lead to the path of success. And so these are three lessons that I think overall we've learned as we've trotted along the last 12 years of making. This is our new tagline, Discover, Connect, and Grow. Our goal at the library is to engage all demographics of the community in a manner that not only promotes community, but also obviously promotes literacy. The library is a place where people and ideas intersect every day. STREAM, science, technology, reading, engineering, art, and mathematics. That learning cannot be fully realized to its greatest potential without the skill of reading. It is our experience that maker spaces that promote STREAM education are the perfect environment to develop the skill of reading. We also have understood that literacy is more than just words. Literacy is understanding how things work and how to use them. We offer a wide variety of programming to engage a community in a manner that creates literacy across many disciplines. And these are just some examples of some of the programming that we have done throughout time, throughout the last several years to promote literacy, all different kinds. As I said, we've been doing making for about 12 years actively. One of the ways in which we do that is through passive programming. And so as you come into the library, you might find little stations where there's little activities for you to do. We stretch our programming dollars and minimize our staff time by doing passive programming. We've integrated many activities throughout the last several years. We typically try to do themed national days or week activities. We've also integrated activities that are centered around programming that we do. You'll see that little guy over there in the corner with his windmill. We had William Kamkwamba here a few years ago, the gentleman that wrote The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. Well, the focus of that is that he built a windmill to provide power to his village. So we came alongside that program with the makerspace and allowed the community to build windmills with straw bees and straws. And so this little guy built one, and he was pretty proud of himself, and so we took a picture of him. But our passive programming opportunities are usually pretty low tech and more crafty than anything. But that is one way that we are able to offer making to the community. Another way that we do that is through our weekly program called Tinker Tuesday, also Open Maker Lab. It is a patron-initiated unstructured program. You come into the space and you have signed a liability waiver. Once all the technical stuff is taken care of, then you have the opportunity to explore the whole facility, the whole Maker Lab, whether you're interested in 3D printing or sewing or using our vinyl cutter and making a Cricut project, or using our CO2 laser cutter and engraver and making some. I brought some samples here of things that we've done.
Oh, this is mine. She made me this ornament, snowflake.
This was done with our Glowforge. It's a CO2 laser cutter. It cuts, also engraves. I didn't bring anything that engraves, but I'm going to talk about workshops in just a second. But this is one of the workshops that we made, door sign. And this was cut out on the Glowforge, and then the ladies got to, and gents got to, that were in the class, got to paint them and put them together. And then another big thing is 3D printing. And so I'll just send these around and you can look at these. These are little 3D printed projects. Oh, sorry.
I don't know.
Can we show these up here? I keep forgetting there's a camera there. And would you guys just pass those along there? Because I can't leave this camera, so. But Tinker Tuesday allows all ages to come in and be encouraged and engaged to challenge-based play. So you come in and you just tinker. You find something and it allows you the opportunity to learn a new technology. And so it allows you the opportunity to be introduced to technologies that you might not be familiar with and to explore how that might be used in your own context. That's the beauty of it. I had a retired bone surgeon in town came in, and he is a woodworker, I find out, and he wanted to make some blocks for his grandkids. And so he came in, he had a logo that was monster size. We got it down to a small digital format. He was able to engrave that image on all of his blocks, and it was a custom made logo for his family. And so that got put on the blocks, and he was in there for probably, I don't know, maybe 10 or so hours, just printing these out. And then he was able to send these off to, actually, I think they flew there, so he took them with him in a suitcase to Texas for his grandkids. And so here his grandkids now have this family heirloom that they can now pass on to their kids. So pretty cool. But he came in into the Maker Lab through Tinker Tuesday and then set up some independent times because his project was a little bit bigger than Tinker Tuesday could contain. Another way that we promote making at the library is with our Maker Lab camps. And this particular program is geared towards 6th through 12th graders. Last year, the students explored rocketry. The students learned about kinetic energy and Newton's second and third law of motion, and were able to put those ideas in practice. And after building their rockets from scratch, they were able to launch them, which was just the coolest thing ever. Maker Lab is a very way of and creative way of integrating reading and technology together. And this is really an important thing because while the student is excited playing with the technology, usually there's a great deal of reading that goes on in building the projects that they're building. So reading and technology go hand in hand during Maker Camp. And then we have Maker Workshops, which is the little items that we've passed around is where those came from. The library offers workshops that center around learning a specific piece of equipment. Like here is the door signs. Those were done on the Glowforge. Over there on the right-hand side of the slide, we have a spiral Betty on the top. You take a piece of vinyl and you input a picture, a photograph into the software, and then it cuts the vinyl out. Then as you peel away the pieces of vinyl, it leaves the picture. So it's pretty cool. And then we also made paper roses using the Cricut. If you're interested in kind of getting your feet wet, March 16th, we're hosting a workshop on how to use the Cricut at the library. And so there is a registration. So if you call, they can get you registered for that. But you'll be building a tote bag that you'll be able to take home with you with the Cricut. So, and it is free. So you can go ahead and register for that if you're interested. So these are some ways that we promote making at the library. Since we're here and not at the library, I thought I'd try to bring the maker space to you. And so this is what the space looks like. There's lots of different opportunities for learning in there. We've got 3D printing. We've got a CNC router. There's a plunge router. We've got CO2 laser cutting and engraving, digital art. We've got stop motion animation. So if you're into animation, we've got that. We've got, I'm just trying to go around the room here. We've got a memory lab, and I don't know if you know what that is necessarily, but what that allows you to do is those old VHS tapes that you have at home, or the Super 8 video reels that you have, that are just sitting there and you can't access them anymore because you can't buy that technology anymore. You can come and back those up into a current file format so you don't lose your memories. Old cassette tapes, you can come and back those up into MP3 files so that you can listen to them again. Old slides or old photos. We just had two ladies in the makerspace yesterday who brought in two big bags of photographs, and they were scanning them and backing them up into digital files so that they don't lose them. So that's our memory lab, and my understanding is that we're the only memory lab north of Detroit. So that's pretty special. We also have crafting available. We have a Cricut machine. We have sewing machines. We have 3D printer pens that you can sit and doodle with 3D filament. So there's lots of opportunities. We've got circuitry. We've got robots. Whatever you can think of that you might want to try, we have. One way, like I said, that would be great for you to get your feet wet would be in a workshop. I think that would be the best way to do that. We're going to have many throughout the year, so just keep your eyes peeled for those, and we would love to have you come. Here's my contact information, and I thank you so much for letting me talk to you about the Makerspace. As these two know, it's quite a large passion of mine. Anytime I have an opportunity to talk to somebody about the Makerspace, I'll take it because it's such a special place. One thing I didn't mention that Pat had put in the little introduction is that I also offer a program called Tech Help. So if you have problems with your technology, from noon to 1, Monday through Thursday, just pop in at the first floor desk at the library, tell them that you're here for Tech Help, and I will sit with you and solve your tech problem, whatever kind you have. So any questions that you have for me? Yeah. We have them posted on the library website. I also think that they get on the community calendar in a newspaper. I think so. We're just hiring a new marketing person, so there might be a little bit of a gap there for a little bit while she's training, but I do believe that they get there. But for sure, they're on the library events calendar.
And if you walk in the library, aren't they on that screen that scans?
Oh yes, when you first walk in, we have a yes, the question is, how do they find out about the workshops? And the workshops, there's a few ways. Library events calendar, the newspaper, social media, Facebook. We have a Facebook page, though all that gets put on there. And then as Leslie pointed out, when you first walk in the building, we have an electronic slide rolling with our different events on it. So there's a few different ways.
The lowest tech way is just call the library.
Yeah, yeah, right. Just call the library. Somebody will tell you. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you can get on their links for their monthly newsletter.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a monthly newsletter as well. And I know that a lot of programming ends up on there too. So, Any other questions? Does anybody want to share their cool little thing they made? Anybody make something? Oh, a butterfly. Look at that. Nice. What did you make? Oh, Pat made a purse. Awesome. Cool. It's just so fun to see all the different things that people come up with and what their imagination will allow them to do. So thank you for having me here.